Scottish League Cup, first competed for in season 1946-47, will be won for the 48th time this afternoon here at Celtic Park when Rangers meet Hibs in the 1993 final. Coincidentally, these two clubs, the last two winners of the trophy. Hibs, of course, winning 2 years ago by beating Dunfermline in the final. Rangers, the current holders, after their win over Aberdeen 12 months ago. Celtic Park, surprisingly, perhaps only a little bit over half full at this stage, half an hour or so before kick-off time, but I'm sure that by 3 o'clock, a 42,000 capacity will all be in place, and looking forward to what everyone expects could be a very close final indeed. But all the noise and the colour are ready, whetting the appetite for this afternoon's match. We bid you good afternoon from our studio here at Celtic Park, where I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Murdo MacLeod and by Gordon Strachan. Coincidentally, both their clubs, Dumbarton and Leeds United, fought back to earn 3-all draws yesterday. And Murdo, of course, your memory is still very fresh of that win 2 years ago.
That's right, it was a superb achievement by the club to manage to, we knocked Rangers out in the semi-final, and to go on to beat Dunfermline and after so many years of Hibs not winning a trophy. And I think to be back again in a final so soon is a great credit to the club.
It certainly is. Gordon, what kind of game are you expecting?
Well, I'm home as a traditional Scottish game, fast and furious, and when it's played like that and with the skill that we have got on the pitch, British football, I would say British football, Scottish and English football, is the best spectacle in the world.
Well, let's hope that the evidence this afternoon bears that out. I'm sure it will do. Let's hear at this early stage then from some of the players who will be involved in the final this afternoon. Rob McLean and Chick Young have been trackside for the last half hour or so, and they spoke firstly to the Hibs players.
Any pre-match nerves at this stage?
There's a wee bit of butterflies, yeah. You get them before these games, but really looking forward to it.
Has the boss told you the team yet?
Well, I'm fit, and hopefully I'll be in the team. I think we'll go in and he'll tell us who's playing, but I'm fit.
There's been a bit of psychological warfare. Richard Gough suggesting now that Hibs are favourites. Is that the way you see it?
Oh no, Rangers have won so many trophies in the last few years that they've got to be favourites. We're up the top of the league, we're up there in merit, but we're coming into the game fully confident, but you've got to back them as favourites.
Over my shoulder there's a tremendous Hibs support in the ground early. What does it mean they're backing to you?
Oh, it means tremendous. Coming along the street in the bus and that, there's thousands of them, and they'll be tremendous today.
And the fact that you've got the Gold Cup under your belt two years ago?
Yeah, that's right. The boys done really well that day, and we're going out to do it again and hopefully bring the trophy back to Edinburgh.
Being over the course, I see the manager sporting the lucky white heather on his lapel. Is it going to work for you?
Hopefully it does, yeah. But you've got to produce it on the park, and we'll do that today.
Dan, thanks everyone, good luck.
Cheers.
Kevin, you're looking very calm and collected at this moment. Are the butterflies inside the stomach working away there?
A wee bit, but we're looking forward to the game. It's a great occasion for us, so we're looking forward to it.
It's a big move for you in the summer. Would you believe that it would come to this? It's not even late autumn, there you are in the League Cup final, top of the Premier Division.
That's right, it's been a great move for me after last season's disappointments. We've got a cup final to look forward to, and I'm looking forward to it.
There's been a bit of psychology here. Rangers are suggesting that you're the favourites today. How do you see it?
You don't believe them, do you? No, it'll be a hard game. I mean, if you've got to win anything, Rangers are the top team, you've got to beat them, so we'll do everybody a favour if we win the day, I think.
Any doubts in your mind?
Nah.
Celebrating tonight?
Yeah, I hope so.
Good luck, Kev, thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Well, the Hibs players and fans have every reason to be confident this afternoon. They've had an excellent season so far, top of the table in this League Cup final. And Murdo, I wonder just how important the signing of players like Kevin McAllister has been to Hibs.
Obviously he's created the wee spark they needed. He's scored a lot of vital goals for them as well. But I think the way Kevin plays, he's very direct, he puts defenders under pressure, and I think that's helped the likes of Darren Jackson keep right up front.
Yeah, you can't overestimate the value of wide players, Gordon, as you know yourself.
Yeah, especially if it's wide players who are in the traditional Scottish mode that can go and take people on, and Kevin can do that. I played against him in his first game for Hibs, and I can assure you he can't go by players, as I found out after about 10 seconds of a pre-season friendly at the beginning of the season.
And he's a confident individual as well. I don't think this sort of occasion will faze him in any way.
I wouldn't like to think so, and I think he's 29, 30-year-old now, so I think he should be able to handle it now.
That's right, and of course he's spent some time in England at Chelsea as well, of course, didn't he? So he's got bags of experience.
He's always been a good player, Kevin.
Good. So the Rangers bus arrived not too long after the Hibs, in fact, and Chick and Rob were down there to talk to some of the Rangers players, including one who's not normally camera shy.
Ali always nervous before a cup final, but with your lack of action, maybe a bit more.
Yeah, I'm obviously very nervous. It's the first, I missed the Scottish Cup final here last year, which was a bit of a blow, so this is hopefully going to make up for it. It's going to be a great day.
Getting a good start for you then is important.
That's right. We don't know the team as yet, so we just have to wait and see. But Hibs are doing very well. They're at the top of the league in merit, Rob, and We know it won't be easy for us today.
And you'd love to relieve Davy Cooper of that record.
That would give me a lot of pleasure, as you can imagine, yeah.
Let's hope it's a good game. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you very much.
Gary, everyone looks forward to a cup final, but maybe you more than most.
Yes, I missed out on the last couple. Sat in the stand watching the Scottish Cup final, which gave us a treble. Tremendous on the day, but yeah, I was obviously very disappointed to miss out. Looking forward to today's game. Perfect conditions, and I just hope it's a good game, good for the fans, and obviously us coming out winners.
How close are you to getting back to your peak form?
The last couple of weeks I felt a lot better. I think with myself, it's my form's gone up and down with the teams, and we're playing a bit better now. Some more football, and I think that's sort of mirrored in the way I've been playing. I'm quite happy at the moment.
And Hibs may be a tougher proposition than they've ever been.
I think so, yeah. I mean, they're very good unit at the moment. Nippy up front. Wait to see what side exactly they're gonna be putting out today. But we're sure that it's going to be a hard game. But as much as we worry about other sides, I'm sure we can cause them more problems.
As you said, let's hope it's a good one. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks.
Mark, how close are Rangers to firing on all cylinders?
I think we're not far away now. We're getting a lot of the people back, which is good. The last two games we've been more like ourselves. We've been creating lots and playing in the last third of the pitch where we're dangerous. So we're coming on to a game now.
And good to have the veteran McCoy still alongside you again.
Yes, he's been away for a while. It's been nice and quiet in the dressing room, not so much earache, but he's back now. So it's a welcome return, I think, especially somebody who scores as many goals as him. It takes the pressure off the rest of the team, and it's just nice to see him back.
How tough is this one for you today, do you think?
They're always tough. Every game we play is, all teams are always up against us and trying to beat us. So, we must approach this game the way we approach most games, especially the last two games. We've got to be very positive and confident in our own ability.
Mark, thanks very much.
Okay, cheers, bye.
The thoughts of some of the players who will be involved in this final this afternoon. Both teams out on the pitch just now, in fact, warming up. Rangers, of course, by their own standards, have had a disappointing start to the season, Gordon. A lot of it is down to the injuries they've had. I mean, in your experience, how long do you think it takes a player who's had a bad injury to be back to full match fitness?
Well, I always found it's not a problem the first couple of weeks, because when you do come back into the side, you're running on adrenaline. You're buzzing because you're back, you're fit. So maybe Alex had doubts in the mind to play again, and you come back, you're running about, the adrenaline's flowing. But after about 3 or 4 games, the lack of match fitness starts to catch up with you. When the adrenaline starts to subside and it's back to the run-of-the-mill league games, then you start to have a problem. I think it shouldn't be too much of a problem today for Ali. He's just back and he's playing in a League Cup final, so the adrenaline should be still there.
Yeah, and he loves the big occasion, obviously. Tends to respond very well.
Any occasion,
It's true. But how do you feel about the Rangers injury situation? Do you feel that they're now over it and getting back to their best form?
I think Walter will be happier just now. He's getting nearer his own, probably first team, his best team. Maybe Andy Gorham's going to be long-term injury. I think Ali Maxwell again came in and did a good job for them. But I think, as you just spoke about there, players coming back will need 5 and 6 matches just to get the win going again in the games. But being a one-off match today, obviously they'll be out desperate to do well. They'll not be tired, they'll be buzzing around. I think it's a very even match though, even although they've come in after their spell.
Yes, we can in fact just have a look at how the two teams got here, in fact, and no news as yet of the teams. We'll bring those to you just as soon as we hear them, of course. Let's take a look at how Rangers got to the final this afternoon then. Not terribly impressive in the opening 2 rounds. Struggled a little bit over Dumbarton against Murdo's side. They made it hard for them. And then they went to East End Park and won 2-0. And then, of course, came the big one against Aberdeen at Ibrox.
His closest rivals Aberdeen in the quarter-finals, and what a start.
So we're underway in front of a capacity crowd here at Ibrox. A marvellous setting again as Durant breaks into the penalty area. Penalty kick's been given for the tackle by Brian Irvine. Irvine bitterly complaining that he made no contact, but Ian Durant went down and a penalty kick's been awarded. This may settle some arguments. So the first minute of the match, a great chance for Rangers. 1-0 to Rangers. Mark Hafley gives them the perfect start. Jess did well. Goss in trouble against Booth. Down goes Booth. It's a penalty to Aberdeen. first half started dramatically, and so too was the second. He's done it again. Aberdeen are back in level terms, and Joe Miller is the scorer. So Houstra with the in-swinger. Scramble away to the edge of the area. Thundered home by Ferguson. He's been hovering there all night in these situations. And that was a magnificent strike with his left foot.
An Old Firm semi-final and Peter Houstra sent off. It looked difficult for the Ibrox team. The Dutch winger had lashed out in frustration, but for the second time in 3 seasons they won a cup semi against Celtic with 10 men.
Here's Trevor Stephen. Now Stevens. Closed down by Slater. Race here. Durant with Galloway. Bit of wrestling there by Durant, was that? Hateley scores for Rangers! .20 minutes of the second half gone. Made by Durant. Finished by Hateley. And Rangers snatched the lead.
The Rangers fans with another final to look forward to. They hope it's the first leg of another treble.
So that's how Rangers reached the final. What about Hibs? Well, they saw off Alloa by 2-0 in the second round, then had to work hard to see off Dundee by the odd goal and 3 in the third. But then, in the next match at Firhill, they went all the way to penalty kicks.
Hibs looked like anything but winners early on in their quarter-final against Partick Thistle at Firhill, and Jim Leighton looked nothing like a Hibs hero as Roddy Grant climbed above the former Scotland keeper to open the scoring. But Hibs fought back, and Kevin McAllister, their summer signing from Falkirk, showed he's a winger who can score goals. An excellent piece of finishing. And after Michael O'Neill did the spade work, it was McAllister again who put Hibs in front. 2-1, could they hold on? No was the answer. After some head tennis in the Hibs area, Albert Craig nodded in the equaliser. 2-2 after 120 minutes meant a penalty shootout. And Grant bidding to beat Leighton for a second time. Not to be, a spectacular save from the veteran keeper to put his team in the driving seat. And he wasn't finished. Jim Leighton's goalkeeping after McAllister's goals won the match for Hibs and set up a semi-final against Dundee United.
Well played, McAllister evading the bowling challenge. He's moving at pace. Darren Jackson. And Jackson has scored. This time, McAllister, the provider, and Darren Jackson on his comeback to the Hibs first team has put them ahead in this League Cup semi-final.
That's the way it finished. Leighton made important saves that night as well, as Hibs celebrated reaching their second League Cup final in 3 seasons.
Yes, marvellous night at Tynecastle, and we have to talk about the 2 goalkeepers involved this afternoon, Gordon, Jim Leighton and Ali Max. Well, I think everyone in football will be delighted to see them involved because their careers really were in jeopardy. It's not overstating the case to say that, is it?
Yeah, well, obviously I know Jim a bit more than I do Ali. Jim was low, really low after that cup final. His family shouldn't have went through what he had to go through with the press and everything else. Sure. And in Al McCoy's words, he was lone Captain Nemo for a while. You know, so it's great for him and his family because I know his children are here today and seen his dad in a cup final, and hopefully his dad will be picking up a winner's medal.
And of course, Ali, who had that very serious injury in helping Motherwell to the Scottish Cup win, Murdo, and he was in trouble as well, wasn't he?
I think he'd fallen out with Motherwell over his contract. He was out of the game for so long. Everybody thought he was going to be lost to the game. But again, he's went down. I think he was at Liverpool for a short trial period, one of the biggest clubs in England. Now he's came up and he's joined one of the biggest clubs in Scotland, or maybe the biggest club in Scotland. And maybe luck for him that Andy Gomes without a long-term injury. He's come in and held his place, did really well, and now he's back in another cup final.
It's interesting as well, when looking at the 2 teams warming up, and although Rangers have been doing what I would call a fairly standard warm-up, but the Hibs players, Murdo, maybe you're the one to ask you, they seem to be through a pretty tough little run out here, aren't they?
I think it's one of these things, the management always wants the players to be at their best at when the whistle goes. Because if you go out and let players do their own thing, they'll have a wee light stretch and a kick of the ball and they'll want to just get into shooting right away. Whereas if you've seen today, Hibs did a lot of good runnings and then passing exercises, thinking exercises as well for the passing. It's not just a wee clip across the park. So their minds will be sharp as well as their own bodies.
Let's talk about the strikers as well. Gordon, McCoist and Hateley are clearly very important for Rangers, aren't they?
Well, they're one of the best partnerships in Britain. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Hateley's been playing his best football of his career in the last 2 years, and Ali's just been wonderful for the last 8 years. I mean, I'm as big a fan as Ali as anybody else. You know, just to have him in the dressing room and on the pitch must be a great lift for the Rangers.
I mean, you obviously follow your career in England. Why is Hateley not rated for the England centre?
He's rated by a lot of people, but it's only one man who rates him. It's Graham Taylor's the only man that picks a side. So
really, that is the case?
That's the case. It's only Graham Taylor. With there's a lot of people down there, the boys who played seen him at Leeds last year, always on the telly live with the 2 games, and everybody thought he was excellent.
Sure.
So he's getting good write-ups in England, but it's only one man picks a team. You know, if it maybe had been somebody different, Mark Hateley would have been 40 caps by now.
Absolutely. And for Hibs, Darren Jackson obviously is the kind of player that can turn a game very quickly.
Darren's the type, I spoke to him about 5 weeks ago. He just went 9 games without scoring and he was worried about it. But the same happened last season as well. And he says he'd score against Dundee United. It turned out to be that in the semi-final. So Darren's the type of player who'll turn games. He gets players round about him playing. He's good in the dressing room. And I think he's been captain this season as well. So that's given him a lift, more responsibility.
Defensively, Hibs have impressed me as well this season, Murdo. Stephen Tweed has been a very good acquisition for them.
Tweed is just still, I think he's still 21. Very good player for his 6'2" frame. He's quick, doesn't he give the ball away. He makes passes, but he's confident, young boy. I think the main asset for Hibs just now is Jim Leighton at their back. He's organising everything. They've all settled into the way Jim organises. But as you say, they've not given many goals away this year.
That's right. So there's a situation, or there's the picture rather, out with just something like 11 minutes to go until kick-off time. The ground now filling up very nicely indeed. They were a little late coming in, which I think surprised a few of us, but the ground is pretty close to capacity now. Kick-off just about 10 minutes away, and that whole match live here on Sports Scene this afternoon, the League Cup final between Rangers and Hibs. We're hopeful of getting the teams for you very shortly, although we're not anticipating too many surprises, in fact. Just being handed to me as I speak, and I can confirm firstly that the Rangers team is Maxwell, Stevens, Robertson, Gough, McPherson, McCall, Stephen, Ferguson, Durrant, Hateley and Houstra, and immediately the thought strikes that Ali McCoist is on the bench. Does that surprise you, Gordon?
Surprised me. It just says I've just wasted 2 minutes speaking about him as well, so it's a surprise to most people. I thought he'd play, but very handy man to have on the substitute bench.
I wonder whether Walter is perhaps just a little concerned that Ali's not fully match fit for a match of this importance, Murdo.
Well, obviously he's not fully match fit, but I think he's going to gamble on. If things are not going well, stick Ali on and he'll get a goal. So I think you've got to go like that.
I think what's going to happen in a game like this, there's going to be a lot of tackles early on to see who's going to be the dominant force, who's going to win the territory. And I think once the tackling and the hull and burl of the game calms down, I think McCoist might come on when it starts to settle.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if we didn't figure at some point anyway. McCoy's joined by Alexei Mikhailichenko on the bench. Now the Hibs team: Leighton, Miller, Mitchell, Farrell, Tweed, Gordon Hunter, McAllister, Brian Hamilton, Keith Wright, Darren Jackson and Michael O'Neill, with Gareth Evans and Davy Beaumont on the bench. Is that pretty well the lineup you'd have expected, Murdo?
Yes, I think that's the way they've been set up most weeks, and I think that's their strongest side just now. Obviously the back four all sitting there with Tweed and Hunter at the centre defence. Brian Hamilton and David Farrell will be the two sitters in the middle of the park, and that'll let McAllister go down one side and O'Neill down the other side.
That's right. Maybe Farrell's a tough tackling customer, isn't he?
He is. Obviously he's not the best known player at Hibs, but he comes in and he does a tremendous job for them. He's as hard as nails. In the middle of the park today, I think he'll be one of the winners.
And Keith Wright, who of course has been a Hibs fan since boyhood, so this is a special day for him, Gordon, to be playing in a cup final for his team.
Yeah, and he's back to his best. Keith he had a sticky season last season. He was in the international squad about 2 years ago, and he's dipped a bit. Now he's coming back. But I like to see that from Alec Miller. He's played his best side. You know, that's the way to do it. That's the team that's been playing well for them this year. So they go on again and say to Rangers, "This is my best team. Come on, you beat us."
Graham Mitchell will be the captain, and hoping to go up and collect a trophy, which Hibs won just 2 years ago. Now let's take a look at that Rangers team and just confirm the perhaps surprise news that Ali McCoist is only on the bench. I think most Rangers fans expected that their ace striker would be on from the start, but it looks to me as if Ian Durrant will play up front alongside Haitley Murdo, with obviously Peter Houster looking to get up as well.
Yes, I think the runs Ian Durrant make could cause Hibs problems today. He doesn't play as an out-and-out striker. He comes late and he feeds off Mark Haitley. And obviously the way Houster has played the last 2 or 3 matches, the goals he's scored, they'll be looking towards him to try and get a goal today.
Ian Ferguson, in fact, is Rangers' top League Cup goal scorer, and he scored that vital one against Aberdeen. Is he a player that you're impressed by, Gordon?
Yeah, and he did impress me last year because he only took a chunk out my knee in the first 2 minutes at Ibrox. Yeah, he's got the right attitude. He loves playing for Rangers, and I think the Rangers fans notice that and they love him. And he can score his head, he's good at long distance shots, and he can tackle. He's a good all-round player, Ian.
Okay, well, let's get a little prediction from you both. It is traditional on these occasions to ask you to go one way or the other, so go on then. Gordon, you go first. Who's it to be?
Well, it's obvious to me. I'm sitting here with a green jacket on and a green tie. And I come from Edinburgh. I'm a Hibs supporter, so there can only be one team to win for me. I think Hibs will win. I think it may be into extra time before they win, but I fancy it to win.
Right, and that's the heart ruling the head, or is that coldly thought out?
That's a heart, and no, my dad's here, my kids are here, and all my mother's neighbours are about 100 yards from me. Yeah, I'm going with Hibs.
All right, what about you, Murdo?
Well, I've said all along it's going to be the tightest game for a long while. If Hibs do manage to win it, it's not through luck, or it's not through Rangers not playing well. They deserve to win it. And I think the side they've got out today is very positive, and it could cause Rangers problems. I think it's unusual to get a studio that 2 players think Rangers will lose. But I feel Hibs might just edge it today.
You're both going for Hibs. The odds, incidentally, for those of you who haven't had a bet perhaps, or at this late stage are still thinking about it maybe, I don't know. Rangers 5 to 6 on favourites. Hibs are 100 to 30, and the draw is 2 to 1. So there we are, it's all set fair. None of us, I think, will be surprised if this one does go to extra time, and maybe even, heaven forbid, kicks from the penalty mark, as they're officially known. The party atmosphere, the kick-off, is now just 5 or 6 minutes away. Let's join our match commentary team of Billy McNeil and Jock Brown.
Thank you, Dougie. Yes, a marvellous atmosphere inside the stadium. 46,000 people here for the match, and Hibs extremely well represented. Begging the question of where all these Hibs fans go Saturday by Saturday. But they certainly have given tremendous support for the team at the warm-up, and conditions really could scarcely be better for such an occasion. And if there is some thought about the favourites for the match, it may interest people to know that only twice in the last 11 League Cup ties have Rangers beaten Hibs. So there is the Hibs team in a likely lineup. Billy McNeil beside me. Is that how the Hibs side will line up?
I think undoubtedly this is the system they've been playing, Jock, and it's one that's given them the success they're showing just now. It gives them a nice little bit of balance. 2 hard-working players in midfield, flanked by McAllister and O'Neill, who are able to carry the ball. But I think most importantly, they'll be happy to see Darren Jackson back, because he's been a very much a key man in the lineup, and he scored more than 1 or 2 important goals.
So that 4-4-2 formation with Kevin McAllister being the floating player, turning that into a 4-3-3 when required. But for Rangers too, with that slightly surprising selection, bringing in Ian Durrant in place of Ali McCoist. There we are, Billy, there's the likely Rangers lineup.
That's right, and we've seen this system before, because undoubtedly Ian Durrant will just play that little bit deeper. Makes life awkward for the centre-backs, makes it difficult to be picked up, and he's good at making those runs into the box. He'll set Hibs a problem.
So the big moment has arrived. The teams prepare to enter the arena. Gordon Hunter skippering Hibs, Richard Gough for Rangers. And a tremendous welcome for both sets of players. The referee Jim McCluskey coming out behind them. So the balloons are released at each end of the stadium. A carnival atmosphere, all right, inside Celtic Park. Their second final of the year after the Scottish Cup final in May. And the Rangers fans are full of a normal enthusiasm. So the Hibs lineup, a lot of tension there in the faces of the players as they go through those anxious closing minutes of the preparation. spotting some relatives and friends in the stand. So the Rangers supporters hoping to celebrate another trophy success, but these players taking nothing for granted, you can be sure of that. Very close to full strength. Ali McCoy is obviously not fully fit. He's only on the bench. And the referee is Jim McCluskey from Stewarton, refereeing his second League Cup final. He handled the match 3 years ago, in which Rangers beat Celtic by 2-1 when Richard Gough scored the winning goal. He also was in charge at the Tennent Scottish Cup final in May, when Rangers once again were triumphant against Aberdeen. So really a remarkable, noisy atmosphere, as you would expect for a cup final. The first time Hibs and Rangers have met in the League Cup final. There's Peter Houstra getting the chance to make amends for being ordered off in the semi-final against Celtic. Kevin McAllister enjoying this big occasion, a cup final in Scotland for the first time in his career. Such a key man, adding that little bit of imagination and flair up front to join Keith Wright and Darren Jackson for Hibs. A very experienced player, Trevor Stephen, for Rangers, has won trophies with Everton, then with Rangers, and then at that spell in Marseille, coming back after a lengthy injury problem. Now played a number of games to sharpen up for a final such as this. Darren Jackson has also been past fit, a £400,000 signing from Dundee United just over a year ago. Well, Hibs supporters here with lots of hopes, indeed perhaps some expectation. Well, Hibs last won the trophy 2 years ago. They also won it in 1972-73. Twice in their history they've won it. And they're looking for a hat-trick now. Rangers having won it 18 times since 1946. The first time the trophy was competed for. So Hibs get the game underway. Michael O'Neill sprinting through the middle, looking for that early pass, which appeared to come from the training ground. So first touch for Ali Maxwell. Michael O'Neill released there to go into an attacking position early on, and Ali Maxwell playing in his second major final, having played, of course, for Motherwell in 1991 and the 4-3 victory over Dundee United. Hunter challenging Haitley. That's a very good first challenge by Gordon Hunter. Always does and defend a lot of good that to win an early high ball like that, Billy.
Well, I think it's important when you're playing against Mark Haitley. It's always good to see your centre-halves get up above the big centre-forward, get in a good header, and I think it settles down the whole team.
So Stephen Tweed for Hibs, looking for Keith Wright, who's over there on the left. Keith Jackson playing through the middle early on. Kevin McAllister's been allowed to go well forward. Confident play by young Stephen Tweed, 21-year-old defender. And the long ball is too far ahead of Keith Wright. Glorious conditions overhead and underfoot for this final. So the throw taken there by Gary Stevens, looking for Haitley. Durant has started the match up front beside Haitley. This is Trevor Stephen. Houstra's on the left, going through the middle. It's good running by Houstra. An early chance, and Haitley now turned away by Tweed. And Peter Houstra had a wonderful chance there early in the match to open the scoring. It was a great tackle in the end by Willie Miller.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. Hibs open up progressively, but Rangers quickly open them up here. It's a good run.
The corner kick causing problems also. There's Trevor Stephen. Wow, a very quick start by Rangers, but Peter Houstra really will be wondering why he didn't do better with that effort. The answer, there's Mark Haitley's header, cleared in the end by O'Neill, and the shot from Stephen over the top, but credit must go to Willie Miller, the young Hibernian right back, who pulled off a marvellous saving tackle on Peter Houstra as he was in the act of shooting there. Well, that's brought the Rangers supporters to life vocally. Rangers trying very hard to take the initiative, and Hibs realising early on they may be leading the league, but they have a very tough task ahead in this match. There's David Robertson's header, and McAllister will retrieve for the throw, which he leaves to Willie Miller. Well, Willie Miller's tackle was very important. He maybe asked a question, though, whether or why Peter Hauser got so much space, but he certainly retrieved the situation, the young fullback. Ferguson in midfield with Hamilton. That's Michael O'Neill and Haustra. And Michael O'Neill crashing into the tackle. Advantage will apply with Rangers in possession. I'm sure that would have been a free kick otherwise. There's Gary Stevens. Now Ian Ferguson. David Robertson breaking on the left, but the pass is too strong. Well, David Robertson's been involved in League Cup finals frequently. Lost with Aberdeen in 1988. He won in 1989 and then won here for Rangers a year ago. Well, not here, but in the final of last year. Hateley's header goes out. So the throw to Willie Miller for Hibs. Here's David Farrell. Will do a digging in defensive job in midfield for Hibs. To Maxwell walking out with the ball and trying to change the trajectory of the clearance, make that more difficult for defenders. Durant did well. There's Gordon Hunter. Turned away by Stevens, and Alec Miller taking the chance to walk to the touchline there to return the ball, and I've no doubt give a few words of advice to Graham Mitchell, who's taking the throw. Mitchell's header. This is O'Neill, and the flag is up against Keith Wright. With Keith Wright operating on the left of a three-pronged Hibs attack early on. Jackson through the middle, McAllister on the right. A clear indication from Hibs that they want to get forward. This is Haustra looking for Hateley, who's offside.